Hey, you guys. So I just discovered that a man, I don't know his name, but I saw his TikTok, was promised, who's good friends with Tlaib, was promised $20 million at least to run against her. And we already have been seeing the news circulating about them paying AIPAC, A.I.P.A.C, AIPAC, it's a kind of Israeli PAC in America, that political PAC that is, consistently fighting for the privileges of Israelis over Americans in American government and politics. And they offered $100 million, as we all should know at this point, for the unseating of all of the Black representatives in Congress who have stood up in opposition to genocide in Palestine. And this leads me to want to beg the question through this platform for you guys. What exactly can you say in defense, or excuse me, to disprove that, well, basically everything that Black people have been saying for decades? What can anyone say when you learn that money is the biggest factor? Let's do this real quick. In American politics, when it comes to winning, when it comes to losing, money is your biggest impediment and benefit. And we know that Black people in America, who make up 13% of the population, allegedly, seeing as we're all locked up and killed, have the lowest rates of wealth in the country. Do we wonder why Black people are still complaining in 2023? I mean, aside from the fact that we're still getting killed and, by the police in the streets, in our homes, in our beds, playing video games with our nephews, Tatiana Jefferson, things like that, in jail cells, Sandra Bland. Aside from that and, the obvious factors, what is keeping us back? What can you say to disprove that there are things keeping us back? Because we've got people who are literally trying to wipe out all of the progress that we made as Black people in this country, by taking all of us out of Congress. We already have low rates of people in Congress, but to take everyone who's Black out of Congress, just about, whoa. And to think that a PAC that represents the interests of Israel, an entirely foreign country, is able to dictate so much in American politics. So we're allowing isn't this tantamount to Russia meddling with our elections? Because Israel is quite literally messing with our elections. Publicly, it's accepted, all kinds of stuff. And I'm just wondering what's going on. But Joe Biden, what's his name? Genocide Joe? What is going on? How are you allowing other countries, we know how though, other countries to dictate our politics in America? Quite directly. And we wonder why Black people are still in the same rut that we're in, because there are so many racist people who have been raised in the same way that their parents were raised and their parents were raised, with the same kind of views, the same kind of discriminatory, prejudicial views, who are financially, monetarily more stable and affluent than we are, who have the ability to get whatever they want passed in this country, because if it doesn't come down to lobbying, getting you what you want politically, then it'll be because someone, connections, power, all that good stuff, and or because of some other form of monetary, benefit or detriment. It's just crazy. It's we'll have an Israeli PAC fighting for their country in our country, trying to get rid of all of the Black people in Congress. The fact that these things are allowed and okay is why Black people are in overwhelming amounts in support of people not being killed off in Palestine, because we know that that's what you, one, want to do to us. And two, we know how it is to go through this kind of discrimination. Like, you all are literally trying to get rid of Black people in Congress because they are proving that they are some of the only moral people there. You know? I mean, isn't the Republican Party supposed to be so about like the family and the values, the Christian values? All you seem to be touting is Jewish values, or Jewish values, in opposition of American lives, in opposition of Palestinian lives. Like, and there are Palestinians who are Christian. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. So I just have to come on here and say that real quick, because it's just like, this is what we're talking about. Like, this is what we are dealing with. We're dealing with an entity that is unbeatable because we are locked out of wealth. We're locked out of capital as Black Americans. Or maybe you need to look into the Byron Allen case that just recently was adjudicated by the Supreme Court and set the Black community back in the business sector by centuries, quite literally, like maybe a good 2 centuries. But, you know, I mean, it's just crazy. It's just like, I mean, like, what exactly is left to say? This is what happens. They use their money to be able to fight any kind of fucking, you know, equality, any kind of justice for people, because at the end of the day, all that matters is the green. I mean, it seems quite apparent that the way that Israelis are dealing with things and accustomed to dealing with things is by getting rid of them. And that includes people. You know, they're doing with the Palestinians right now. They're literally killing them, wiping them off of the face of the earth. And now they're over here trying to politically do it to Black people. Are we going to let it? Hey, I got 2 things for you at the end of this video. Claudia de la Cruz and Marianne Williamson. Please research those presidential candidates. Marianne Williamson is a white woman who is for Black reparations and has been for decades, at least a decade. And she ran in the last election as well. We missed out. And I'm still looking into her politics, but so far she seems to be amazing on social justice reform, on social services that should be free for the general public, like healthcare, things like that, education reform, and same with De La Cruz. Claudia De La Cruz is a Black Latina. So she is a Black woman who is also Latina, and she is able to, and from her rhetoric it seems, wants to help both of our communities, and of course more than just our communities. She is one of the best people to come from a perspective of fixing the problems with this country when it comes to racial discrimination. So please look into her campaign as well. Please look into Marianne Williamson, and we can't stand for it.